So we go straight into our first review of the book by Martin Dory, No More Plastics. I think the book is quite clear, very practical steps that one can take to reduce the amount of materials that we use and discard every day that end up on our environment and eventually in our oceans, in our various water bodies. Some people may say we do not have an ocean around us, we are a landlocked country. But no, whatever that we generate from all over the world, it will find its way into the ocean if it's not managed sustainably. Through our water bodies, some can be blown away by wind. There are so many carriers that takes these materials that we use and discard every day into our oceans. And more specifically, we're talking about plastics. The plastic is one of the major challenge that we are facing today, which is suffocating our oceans, suffocating life, the marine life, and also now have direct impact on the human health, as the microplastics are now said to be found in the human cells, the brains, and especially in the cells for men, genital cells for men. And I think that's one of why this is very much of a critical issue that needs to be looked at. So, very few things that I picked from the book. The first one is that there are those small things that we consider insignificant, small actions that we're able to do on a daily basis. For example, avoiding unnecessary packaging when you go for shopping. Secondly, using a reusable bag. Also, making the right choices even when you're participating in conferences and events. There are decisions that you can make in terms of whether you want to use a reusable water bottle or not. There are things that gets unnecessary packaging, plastic packaging, that we find in our convenience shops where we buy things every day. It's an issue to say you must raise your consciousness, your sustainability consciousness, that you are able to refuse and make the right decisions not to take some of those materials with unnecessary packaging, plastic packaging. And I think these are some of the few practical actions that you can do to avoid and to reduce the materials that we use and discard, and they end up on our environment. And when they get to our environment, eventually they'll find their way to the ocean if they are not recovered. And the second part is where you are now looking at what is it that I can do to also play a part to remove that which has found its way to the environment. And there are so many ways of doing this. One practical challenge that is placed at the center of the 2 minute challenge by the author is that you can have a very small activity. Challenge yourself to just pick even one bottle a day from the environment, one piece of plastic a day from the environment. That action put collectively to many other actions that other people might be doing can really have a significant impact in terms of cleaning our environment and ensuring that we deal with the challenge of this plastic pollution. So these are some of the challenges that I put forward. But also more importantly, for me, this book resonated with me very much because in the context of Zimbabwe, the activities like the National Cleanup Day that people are doing, and it's an opportunity for everyone to participate and say, I will spare my 2 minutes, join these activities, clean my environment, and ensure that I take plastic materials from the environment and deposit them where they will be taken for sustainable and appropriate disposal and treatment processes. So these are some of the things that the book really highlights. But I think the argument that also comes, and the big question that is raised is that when many people will say, if I pick one bottle, that's too small an intervention compared to the challenge that we have. No, the writer really placed it accurately that it's not about how small the actions you put, but it's about doing that little small action and creating, that collective responsibility where majority of the people will be able to also join and play their part. And by doing so, you create that consciousness. You create a society that is aware that it's everyone's responsibility to keep our environment clean, and therefore it will then drive the behavioral change in terms of how we treat materials that we use and discard every day, making the right choices to avoid producing waste. Secondly, if waste is produced, we know where it should be placed and how it should be handled. Thirdly, we push for the responsibility to also ensure that whatever that is being generated is treated appropriately. But over and above that, the book really places a very interesting argument that I think we really need to push for an alternative. We really need to push for that which is sustainable. And there are also propositions that are put forward by industry when they talk about biodegradable materials. It's not all biodegradable materials that are good, but it's plant-based biodegradable materials that are good, because there are other biodegradable materials that still have your persistent organic pollutants, that still have very toxic pollutants and chemicals that you find in the materials that are used in the production of those. And secondly, it's not an issue of just bringing an alternative. It then comes to the view that I always express, that it's not about introducing an alternative, but it's about establishing systems that are able to deal with the current challenges we are facing, and those systems can be adapted to be able to deal with any alternatives that can be brought. Because whether you bring biodegradable or organic or plant-based biodegradable materials, they will still need systems that will be able to handle them and process them, treat them sustainably. Because without the systems, the same challenge that plastics are causing, synthetic plastics are causing today, will still be the same challenges that we are going to face with any other alternative that is going to be introduced. So I think, in summary, the book really pushes a very interesting argument, very interesting arguments from practical interventions that can be done at an individual level, and also pushes the argument beyond the actions that are done by the users, challenging the systems and industries that should be able to produce that which the earth is able to handle and help us preserve and conserve our mother nature. That's the first summary of the review of No More Plastics by Martin Doring. Look out for part 2, where we're going to really look at the details, chapter by chapter, of the actions that are proposed in the book. Thank you.